Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 3 in Depth. In today's episode, I'm going to show you all of the wall run spots on the map Exodus and talk a little bit about the map itself because it's very personal to me. The map is set in a destroyed Singapore. There you can see the Marina Sands Boat Hotel, and the map is very cluttered, some unusual geometry, some mix of new and old and lots of things, and it doesn't look like there are very many wall run spots, but there are actually quite a few and quite a few good ones. One thing you should note is that you can't run on any of the buildings that have shutters on the windows, any of the ones that have advertising or otherwise look bumpy, but these smooth walls here right off the spawn you can jump onto and you can chain these. I think you're going to see more people running on these than fighting it out on the street. You can even chain it over to the palm tree over here, but you can't run off the yellow-orange buildings because the annoying air conditioning systems will knock you down. In the same area there is a very small wall run spot that you can use to skip the stairs and run off the second building to sit on top of the oddly phallic turtle. On going back, you can't quite connect to the old one no matter how hard you try, you just won't make it. Now would be a good time to tell you about the Black Ops 3 Ultimate utility with Brass Monkey. That's where my apps are going to be made as well. But they've got an exclusive deal this year where they're going to be getting gun stats first before anybody else. Wanted to show you some of the very minor wall run spots in the turtle area and show you this one by the brick building. Now I do want to point out that you cannot run on the gray wall with the air conditioner. So the trick to this is to run on the brick, scoot over, and then run on the next brick building. You cannot run on that gray wall at all, not the other side. And you're probably going to wonder if you can jump all the way to the other side, because it looks like you can. It looks like it would be chainable. I mean, that is very clearly a wall running surface, but you just never seem to have the juice. I tried all day and you can't really get across, even though that looks glorious. You can run on all of the building on my right, the building on my left, you can run on the bottom and the top except for the white window. The white window is bad news, but the red areas you can run on, and you can also run on the glass. So the idea is that we just hop off of the truck onto the building, let your meter charge up, jump, avoid the glass, don't use your boost, go back over here, and we are solid. You can loop around or chain it to other things. You can run on both of those sides, and any of the sides of the buildings on my right that are covered in red you can wall run on. Unfortunately, they're just not very useful. They don't really take you anywhere. There's not much going on this side of the map. This is kind of like a back spawn area, so I'm just going to show you that it can be done, but it's not practical and it's not worth wasting your time on. We're going to move on to some of the more big boy wall run spots and obvious ones, and don't worry, we're going to chain this all together into something really crazy later on. But yeah, that's a pretty obvious wall run spot. Anytime you see panels on the wall, giant flat wall over here on the right, very easy to wall run on. You can wall run on the top or the bottom of this surface, but if you're running on the bottom, do keep note that you can fall through the holes. You can't loop around because there's like barbed wire or like, I don't know, wire and all sorts of obstructions, but you can wall run on that side if you're not stupid and try and turn around. I wanted to get all creative and show you the scenery while wall running. Hop on the buildings, no problem. You can wall run on the bottom sides very easily, just so long as you don't fall in the holes and the flat side, so you're going to be able to loop around. And if you can't tell, I'm kind of building up to circumnavigating the entire map. You cannot wall run down here. You will fall off the map and die almost immediately. But yeah, you use this to kind of chain things together, and if you notice, there's another big flat wall dead ahead, so if you just so happen to be running off of the destroyed wall, you can bounce off of this. You can follow the Chinese lantern chain all the way back to the spawn, but I would like to note that the air conditioners will bump you off, so do keep an eye out for them. Alrighty, so now we're moving to the big boy wall run, where I'm going to show you how to circumnavigate the entire map. We're going to combine every single thing we've learned so far. Run off the gray wall, onto the small building by the lanterns. We hop off the turtle. You're technically not touching the ground, and the floor is lava, so that counts. Avoid the gray. Stick to the red brick. We hop off of the blue truck, on to the brick apartment building. You avoid the white window, hit the red wall, then try to bounce back to the glass. Let your meter charge, and maintain forward momentum all the way. Don't go for height. A little boost for forward momentum. On this side, you run on the flat wall, of course, but you want to drop down lower, but just above those annoying holes. Come on, loop through. Sometimes you can run through that little air conditioner. Keep chaining it together. Little hops will do. You get some height over here. You're going to need it because you need to run off the other wall kind of high, but not too high because that air conditioner will kick you off. Follow the lantern chain. It's made for you, and you're already back to the spawn, and you can run back to pretty much exactly where you started if you wanted to run down over there, or you can chain off this wall again. I'm not done yet. There are some more minor tips you might find interesting. You can run off of the ambulances, and you can chain the two ambulances together. They're like little bitty launch pads. I just don't find them to be very very useful with the exception of using this one to wall run onto the back wall and then maybe chaining with other things. Now I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. In theory, you probably could continue this whole wall run chain and run off of these walls and bounce off of the ambulances, kind of, but I find it way easier to just hit the top of them and keep going. Fancy tricks are fun, showing off wall runs are fun, but practicality is what's going to get you kills, and wall running off of everything won't. Inside the quarantine area, there are a couple areas you can wall run on. Of course, the big flat wall on the right is pretty easy. You cannot wall run off of the barricades. They just kind of make you slide down. I actually fell off there. It's a little bit embarrassing. You can, however, wall run on the red panel areas, the shutters, but the signs will knock you off and the open shutters will knock you off, so it's kind of a waste of time. The best thing to do is just use the truck to hop into the middle of the map and go back to the oddly phallic turtle where we can start some more chains. That is all for the in-depth part of this episode, but as a guy who has visited Singapore, this map is very well recreated, so I'm going to show you a few cultural bits. You may recognize this clip again. This is going to be the Marina Sands Hotel. It's an iconic hotel in Singapore, and I've actually been standing in this exact same location. I don't know if you can see this massive structure behind me. This is the Marina Bay Hotel, if I'm not mistaken, here in Singapore. I call it the boat hotel. You can see all the way down the boat here on top of the hotel. Unfortunately, the infinity pool is for hotel guests only, which I am not. But you get one hell of a view of Singapore from up here. See pretty much all of it. The temple that you're seeing right here is the Buddha's Tooth Temple, which I have been both outside of and inside of. Still in Singapore, I hope you can hear me, and I'm going to be going to this huge Chinese temple. Alright guys, that's all for this episode of In Depth. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. The previous episode was on all the Breach wall run spots, and the next episode is going to be on Havoc wall run spots. Drifter out.